so it's going to quit bouncing. There we go. Okay. So this lab normally is the first one that we do. Okay? We call it the Whirly Bird. If anybody knows what the Whirly Bird is, sometimes they're like helicopters. If they're made out of plastic, you go like, and then they spin and they fly up in the air. Okay? This is going to be the one made out of paper. Okay? This goes way back to me. I don't know if I did this in high school or I did this when I was student teaching. But it's sort of a lab that kind of gets students thinking about variables, okay? Gotta look down here. Variables and how they are affected by the changes that you make to this, all right? So there's construction paper, or you can use regular white paper. Either way, there's some regular white paper. I think in the third big drawer down in the front desk, it's like scrap paper. And I don't think I wrote scrap on it, but it's just like old I call them dittos. That's old school. But they're just old papers, you know, from the copy machine. Or you can use construction paper, which should be in the double doors. I think there's a bunch of construction paper there, or over by the door. Okay? So we can cut it different ways. Let me think. You can cut it long ways or short. I don't know. It's going to come down to just kind of guessing and figuring out. Okay? So we have a piece of paper. This one's going to be really short. Hopefully it works. If not, we could just cut it the other way. All right? Make a few. See which one works best. All right? So I'll do it this way. Here's our piece of paper, and we're going to say this is a cut. Let's all call that a fold. This is a fold. And this will be a cut. So we're going to cut, and then you're going to leave some space, and you're going to cut, and you're going to cut, fold, 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 fold. Like, what in the world is that? Okay, so here's what we're going to do, all right? Get your scissors, and we're going to cut. Now, how far down do you cut? I don't know. Halfway? Maybe less than halfway? So it looks like this. Okay. And then the mistake that people make, I'll just fold it now. So you fold one the one way. Okay. And then you fold the other one the other way. And so those end up being like our wings, right? See that? There are wings. Now what students will do is when they make these cuts across, they'll make them like right on the wing. No, you got to go down a little bit, okay? So you're going to go about a third that way, about a third that way, and then you're going to fold them. Okay? Same way. Like this. I always say you don't want any air going up the bird's butt. All right? So you're going to fold the bottom. All right? You're going to fold the bottom a little bit. And I always fold it over a couple times. All right? And this is our Whirly Bird. And I feel like this one's going to be terrible. Lift it up. Oh, that was great. I don't want to bend over like that. So when you let it go, it should spin like a helicopter. Okay? Ideally, it starts to spin really soon after you let go, okay? After you let go, it should start spinning pretty soon. This one was terrible. It just kind of fell down like this and then kind of spun at the end, all right? We'll try it again. I don't think you're going to be able to see it even past the computer. No, not that good, all right? That's a Whirly Bird. I think somebody has probably made it before. Okay, so that's what we're going to use for our little lab here, the Whirly Bird Lab, okay? So, you are going to need to pick the independent variable. What are you going to change about the Whirly Bird, okay? I hate to even give ideas, but maybe you shorten the wing length, okay? Maybe, I don't know, I don't want to give anything. But in the classroom, we have staples, we have, why can't I think of words right now? But we have staples, we could cut the wings shorter, we have paper clips, anything you could think of doing to it. Now with that said, when you pick the independent variable, this is where students go wrong, okay? They'll be like, one time they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna cut the wing shorter. Okay, the next time I'm gonna change how high I drop it from. Okay, the next time I'm going to add a paper clip. You can't do that, right? You're changing different things then, all right? You can only change one thing, height dropped, wing length, whatever. And then you're gonna have to do the responding. Now with that said, everybody's responding variable or dependent variable is going to be the time, all right? It's not gonna be the speed. We can't tell how fast it's moving when it hits the ground, but we can't like time it, okay? So that's it. You make your whirly bird, okay? You decide how you're gonna change your independent variable, and then you're gonna do your dependent variable, okay? Your dependent variable is gonna be time. Now in there's gonna have to be a decent amount of controls, right? Like what are you gonna control? What's gonna stay the same? Make sure you write those down, okay? It's not really that difficult. The hardest thing to a certain extent is getting the whirly bird to work correctly. That might be one of the worst ones ever made, you know? Maybe the thickness of the wings needs to be bigger. Maybe the tail or the tail always, if the tail's longer, it always works better. I'll tell you that, okay? I'll tell you that. Now, make sure you have some sort of measurement or something for your independent variable. If you're gonna add paper clips in some way, then maybe it just says your independent variable is number of paper clips. 0 would be you just drop it without any. 1, you put 1 somewhere. 2, you put the same place. 3, and so forth, okay? If you're gonna clip the wing length or something like that, then you need to probably know the length of the wings, right? And they need to be the same. Maybe they're 5 centimeters, then they're 4 centimeters, then they're 3, then they're 2, okay? For this, when we did the golf ball drop, we had 5 measurements. That's gonna be a bit much for this. So if we have 4 different measurements, okay, that's perfectly fine. Once again, you don't need to write a procedure. Make sure you do a diagram though, because if I say, hey, I added paper clips, as a teacher, somebody else I'm gonna say, hey, where'd you add them, okay? So that's what our diagram could be used for, all right? So if you have any questions, I don't think there should be too many questions. Do your best to work through this just like we did for the golf ball, okay? All right.